If someone promises results without requiring hard work from you, they're either lying or delivering results that won't last. Sustainable success is always preceded by sustained effort. There's no other path. Are you looking for lasting results or temporary illusions? The entire quick fix industry exists because people want to believe effort is optional. But every business that achieved durable market position did so through years of grinding work that shortcuts can't compress into weeks or months. Research tracking businesses' longevity shows that companies built on a systematic process and patient execution survive an average of 23 years, while those built on growth hacks average about 3 years before they collapse or are forced to pivot. What's your business half-life? The quick fix dependency creates businesses that are perpetually fragile, always on one algorithm change or a market shift away from collapse because they weren't built on tricks instead of the fundamentals, ensuring constant vulnerability and stress. Entrepreneurs addicted to shortcuts experience a 12% higher business failure rate and more frequent financial crises because the revenue depends on tactics rather than value creation. That customer would miss if this company actually disappeared. Every shortcut you take instead of building real capability is another structural weakness in your business foundation, guaranteeing you'll spend your career in survival mode, constantly searching for the next hack to replace the last one that stopped working, never achieving the sustainability and security that only comes from hard work and creating something of genuine value. I saw this many years ago when people started looking for the next ninja, the person who could come in, do something magical quickly, and make this big thing happen. What was interesting was that these ninjas changed every single time. Every time we saw someone, every time we worked with someone, they would be able to do a quick thing, and then the algorithms or the systems would get smarter and they wouldn't be able to do the thing again. What's interesting, because I'm in the back end of many, many companies, is that I can see what's worked and what hasn't worked over a period of time. And I can watch when these quick hacks come in and these fast-moving things where you put 30,000 names on an email list, you got them on there, they were really cheap, you only paid a couple of cents a name, but they didn't do anything more than that. Or you did a quick trick and you got your name up on the top of Google for a period of time, and then because you weren't fulfilling it, or the algorithm changed, or you weren't doing this monumental amount of work, it stopped. And then as these tricks started to develop, the systems got better at figuring out how to deal with those tricks. So you had to get more and more complex. So really, when you talk about looking for someone who got the expertise, they don't necessarily have the expertise for that time, for that moment. They should understand how the systems work in broad terms with the expectation it will take time and effort. I've now been recording 104 of these videos, and they're not designed to be blockbusters. I'm not looking for the next viral video. I'm not looking for that, but I am looking to create a foundation, a deep-seated foundation that allows me to do lots of things. One of the things I'm interested in doing is building a breadth and depth of knowledge that I can use over a period of time. And we've talked about this before. One of the best ways to do that is teaching. But also what it does, it allows me experience in recording. It allows me to develop a brand new system for my VSS, which is more efficient. It allows me to see actually what the algorithm does when you don't play games. In fact, every one of these videos was designed not to play games, but to put good information out there and see what the algorithms are now doing with it. And it's fascinating. And in a very short while, I'm going to do an entire video on what I've learned about doing 104 videos, 2 a week for an entire year, and what that taught me, what it showed me, and why I think it's actually a good idea, even though none of my things went viral, and some of mine only had a few views. It's really fascinating to watch. We have lost the time when a simple trick or a simple email becomes the best thing and you can make a business off of it. We have moved out of the cutting, bleeding edge of the systems, and now the online is a real business. It requires real work, real focus, and a real attitude and understanding. And in fact, the next video I'm going to be doing is all about one of the fundamental misunderstandings for most businesses. So watch for that, because it's coming up next. When you move from the fast-paced, wild, wild west of everything works to a real business, lots of people leave, which is great because the noise drops down. And lots of people then think that this isn't a business anymore and disappear. But those that stay with it, those that are consistent, those that work it on a regular basis, will see the longevity counts, the work counts. This is not a quick fix anymore. This is a real business that will take time and effort and consistency to become the true business that you want, opposed to the flash in the pan. This is a quick hack that will get you up for a period of time. Here's a quick secret. There is no silver bullet. It means that you just need to put the time and the work in over and over again. The consistency and putting the work in over a period of time is the secret. There is no way that you're going to be able to get to the top of X, Y, and Z, and it's becoming more and more difficult. There is no one thing that will allow you to do this anymore. Interestingly enough, as the technology increases, the hacks decrease. In the beginning, you could do some quick things like create a bunch of websites that all pointed to yours, and then Google got brighter on that. And then you had to write long posts, and then Google got brighter on that. Then you had to do videos with long posts. And all of these things created a lot of work for something that you were chasing that would change. Instead of saying, oh, wait a second, if I provide good content regularly and consistently to the entire market, I get a following of people who want this information and are interested in it, no matter how you deliver it. Whether it's on video, whether it's on audio, whether it's on a blog post, whether it's written, whether it's a book, people start to follow that, people start to be interested in that, they start to follow you, your attention is drawn, and your business grows. That's the formula. It's becoming more and more difficult to be able to put official hashtags in. I just saw someone complaining because a certain social media network has reduced the number of hashtags, therefore making it more difficult for them to actually promote their business. But they're not consistent. So they're promoting their business only when they think so, and therefore flooding an old technique. And it's becoming more and more difficult to cheat the system. And therefore, people that understand the business, understand what needs to be going on, and understand how to work and how to get things done and to produce quality information over a long period of time will always win. Why? Because the large language models, the ChatGPTs and the Claude and the AIs are all making it more and more difficult for one thing, one trick. They are looking at the entire breadth and depth of the community and the society that we live in to learn from it. So therefore, doing one trick to push you up at one point won't work really well. In fact, in another video, I talked about how many posts it actually takes to actually get something on these new large language models, and how many that you have to do to even poke your head up. So you can go fight that battle, and you can try and game the system again, and it's going to get more and more difficult to game the system. That, or you can do the slow and steady method, the way things get done. So if you think about a ninja, he was an individual in the Japanese society who did not want to train, who was not part of a family who had a tradition of becoming a warrior, and the traditions and the following of that battle training, testing, and that basic religion. A ninja was someone who came in, had a couple of quick tricks, and were basically disposable. They were the hashashin of the Japanese society, opposed to the samurai who trained and built and worked their entire life for one specific purpose. Now, you could argue that that was a hierarchy that allowed some families to do it and some families not. Absolutely. But what I want you to take out of this is one had discipline, rules, and worked their entire life to get better, and the other had a few tricks and did it quickly and got in and got out and were never seen again. Now, you can romanticize that, and that makes great fiction, but it's bad society. It's bad business. It's bad ways of doing things. So if you really want to succeed in any digital format, do the hard work over and over again. Do this so that you can get better and better at what you're doing in both what you're creating and what you're putting out there. Understanding that certain things are fundamental. We always want to become part of a tribe. We always want to become the people who people listen to. We always want to get better at what we're doing, and we can do that by being consistent and being direct and providing good information no matter how much time, energy, and work is required. Therefore, whatever the new system is, whatever the new great thing is, stop taking the shortcuts. Do the work, put in the time, you will always get better. People are worried about AI taking their jobs. Well, if you do mediocre work, they'll take your job. But if you do great work, they'll start copying you. And we know what I think about copying. Go ahead, copy me. I'll get better. So in many ways, AI will never take over that part of us, at least as it is right now. So don't use the shortcuts. Do the hard work. It will pay off in the long run. If you've got a story or an idea or another example of how the hard work works really well, put it in the comments below. I'd love to talk to you. And let's keep this conversation going. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode on The Strategy Session, where we take your business from stuck to unstoppable. Here's another video I think you'd enjoy. If you found these insights valuable, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for notifications on our latest videos. Remember, you're not just marketing, you're making history with Venture Gained.